Mark here, and today we're going to look at Reolink's newest camera, the OMVI 3i. So when Reolink sent me an email with the information on this camera to find out if I was interested in having a first look at this, I thought, wow, this is, please send me. I need to have a look at this. It's nothing like anything else. So what this does is it takes my two favorite Reolink cameras and essentially merges them into one camera. So it takes the Argus 4 Pro, which is a 180-degree field of view, high definition camera, and it merges that with essentially the Track Mix camera, which is a camera that tracks subjects and moves around and follows and zooms in. So all of that in one camera. So without further ado here, I'm excited to open this thing up here and have a look at it. Get my hands on it. Of course, here's your pack with your instructions and all your information. Probably a decal in there as well to tell people that they're being monitored by a Sentinel camera. Okay, so here it is here. What else do we have? We have some mounting hardwares and, of course, a cable. That's pretty much all you need. I believe the power to this one, the power cable, is sold separately. It's not in the box, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook this up with power over Ethernet, so PoE, which you've got your PoE connection here, and you have your standard power cable here, which I'm assuming if you don't have power over Ethernet, you can always buy a little adapter that will convert it for like 10 bucks. So it's not the end of the world. Plus, having power over Ethernet is nice and easy. It's one cable, networked, hardwired, and power. So they are coming out with the Wi-Fi version. By the time this video comes out, the Wi-Fi version will already be out, but the PoE was the first focus. So here it is. All right, so, okay, that is good. Here's your two cameras in the top. Let's take off this, peel off this little sticker here. This comes out. Oh, I know what that's for. Okay, so get my big fingers in here to grab the tab. There we go. Okay, so yeah, there was a little cushion down underneath it because you can actually manually adjust it up and down for a 20-degree tilt. So of course you're going to be installing this up above head level kind of thing, up in the air. So you can manually move that down to focus in on what you want to look at. So that is definitely cool. And then there's another one here. So we'll just take that guy off. All right, so there it is. Look at that. So this is your 180-degree field of view, and it runs at 10 megapixels. And the bottom one is a 8-megapixel 4K camera. So what happens is this top camera, which has the 180-degree field of view, finds its target, focuses on the target, and tells this bottom one, hey, there's something going on here. Let's take a closer look. So the bottom one will do a 350-degree turn. Of course, you're going to be able to see everything in the 360, even though the camera only moves 350. And then it has a 50-degree downward tilt. And then on the back here, you've got your card slot and power button. So this camera will take 512 gigabyte micro SD card, but the nice thing is you don't need a subscription. A lot of cameras, and I did one recently, a reputable brand, and I thought, come on, really? You know, you're forcing people into paying. And honestly, the payment of that other brand was $13 a month for one camera. And I'm not sure the exact amount. I think it's like 10 bucks for 5 cameras with Reolink. So if you are the kind of person that wants to go with the subscription and just have it upload onto somebody else's server, all your personal video and audio, then go for it. But I like to have everything on site here. So you can have the micro SD card in the back here, which is great. But if you want a little bit more security, you can actually plug it into an NVR. This also works with the Home Hub by Reolink. And what that does is it takes all of the data and it sends it into your house onto a hard drive that is in your house. It doesn't go anywhere else. It's yours. So even if somebody's able to rip this off the wall and take the camera, which it looks like it's got a pretty beefed up mounting system, it's going to take them a little while to do that. Then, you know, you've got that backup by having it in the house. So, all right, so I'm excited to get this all hooked up. I've got a couple ideas onto where I want to put it, and we'll do that, and we'll record it for a couple weeks, see what kind of footage we get. We'll do some audio and video testing because I'm really excited to find out how that tracking works. How good is it? And can it catch me? So we'll find out. Okay, we're back, and it's been about 3 weeks now, and I've learned a lot about the camera and how it operates. At first, I thought this was a PTZ, pan, tilt, and zoom, but of course I got that mixed up with the newest camera, the OMVI X16, that's not quite out yet, but it was at CES 2026, which is probably why I got mixed up in this. So this has, of course, digital zoom. You can zoom in, and you'll see me zooming in on the image during the audio and video test. And it's very clear. So let's just jump right into it. Let's start off with the audio and video test that I did. Now, keep in mind, the two cameras that do the 180 does have a line down the center where it stitches the two cameras. And at the 10-foot mark, of course, I stood right on that. I look like a cyclops. You can still read the license plate. You're going to capture people coming up to that anyway. The other thing is the pan and tilt camera, and it breaks it down to the lens quality. So of course you're dealing with like 10 megapixel and 8 megapixel cameras, but it's all about the lens, the bit rate. There's so much more involved here. So you can't really look at it on paper and talk about, you know, what the quality is just by going off that. For example, the camera I'm recording this with is recording at, well, 2 megapixels versus, you know, an 8 and 10 megapixel camera. This camera is much better, but of course it's the lens, it's the 1-inch full frame sensor, all of that comes into play. And of course with cameras, camera companies have to do a balance between quality and storage. So there's some compression that has to happen there so that you're not storing tons of footage. You're getting that down into a nice compact size that is both good quality and good sizing. So anyway, without further ado, let's jump into the test with the two cameras, audio video. You will see that the wide angle does drop off quality on the license plate at roughly about 50 feet, whereas the pan and tilt actually goes right to 80 feet, and I could have gone beyond. So the quality of that lens on that pan and tilt camera is quite phenomenal, better than any other camera that I've looked at and tested out. So here's that footage. Audio video test at 10 feet. Audio video test at 20 feet. Audio video test at 30 feet. Audio video test at 40 feet. Audio video test at 50 feet. Audio video test at 10 feet. Audio video test at 20 feet. Audio video test at 30 feet. Audio video test at 40 feet. Audio video test at 50 feet. Audio video test at 60 feet. Audio video test at 70 feet. Audio video test at 80 feet. So here on the farm, we are open to the public on the weekends, and that's why you get a little bit of chatter in the background you can kind of hear. But the audio is actually fairly good, even at 80 feet. The video and the audio is quite clear. So I did also do a notification. So notification testing to find out what kind of notification and what timeline you're looking at. So in doing so, it looks like roughly about 8 seconds. This is going to change depending on your service providers. So I'm just outside of view. Right on the other side of this corner is the camera and is the field of view of the OMVI. So we're going to see how long it takes for it to send me a notification. Just getting into view. Looks like about 8 seconds for the front camera. So that was the 180-degree camera view. Now the other one, the pan and tilt camera, is pointed this way, and the field of view is just on the other side of that corner where that ladder is. Just entering the field of view. And there we go. 6.85 seconds. So I want to get into some of the features and some of the newer features that are on the Reolink camera that I haven't seen before as well. So opening up the app here, you can see there are actually people hanging out and about and getting the tour of our petting farm here at the 10 Acre Woods. Opening up, you'll go into, now I did show this, the display. You get into display, it will show you under stream, it'll show you your wide angle numbers as well as your tracking image camera numbers. And you can just simply click on that and you can change your frame rate, your bit rate, depending on, your bit rate. I've got it set at the default, which is 6144. You can actually go up to 8192 on that. And is it going to make much of a difference? You can test that out. I don't find a huge difference in those numbers. And again, you're playing with the amount of storage that you have. If you have online storage, of course, that's going to eat it up fairly quickly. If you have a Home Hub Pro with a 16 terabyte drive in it, you can crank it up without any issues. So one other feature that they have that I haven't seen before in any of the other cameras is pinpoint tracking. So what you can do is at the bottom, you just hit the little pinpoint tracking icon and it'll show a crosshair on the 180-degree screen. Now you can see it's actually looking around and moving to look at the tracking. If you want to override that, and let's say you want to look at the tractor that's over on to the right, you just click on the tractor and what will happen is that will just move over to that location. So if you're monitoring the system and you want to go and look at this car, let's jump over on that, it will then move and have a look at that. So another feature is, of course, you go into pan and tilt. There's a few more options there. One of them is this funny looking icon here. And what that is, it's a patrol function. So you can put up to 64 preset locations. I don't know why you'd need 64 preset locations, but you can put those all in. Now, the function of this is you can track on patrol 4 different locations. So if I go and I turn the patrol function on, I currently have 2 locations in there. Of course, I can add 2 more. And what that tracking camera is going to do is it's just going to go on that route. And it's going to go and it's going to look around, move back and forth, just to kind of get a good view of everything that's going on. Personally, I probably wouldn't use this, especially on this camera, because this camera, because it's got 180 degrees, that is facing completely forward. I then have the other camera facing behind it, at the entrance to our barn and shop area. So there is very little area that is not being monitored. And to get to those areas that aren't being monitored, you actually have to walk through the monitored locations. At CES 2026 this year, Reolink unveiled a new product called the AI Box. So this is going to be a game changer to their entire camera line, and it's something that other companies really just aren't looking at. You know, companies come out with cameras and then they replace those cameras, and the other cameras just kind of go by the wayside. Now, what this AI box is going to do is it's going to integrate all of your cameras, your new cameras that have AI search built in, as well as old cameras that don't have the capability. All of the feeds are going to run through this AI box, and it's going to essentially turn all of your cameras into AI cameras with smart detection. So what does that mean? That means that you can go on and you can search for, my wife was out with a tractor. So if we go into the AI search and we just search for person riding a tractor, it will go through and it'll search on currently just on this camera. It will search all of the footage and look for a person riding a tractor, and it'll come up with that image. I can search for a man wearing a baseball hat. I can search for all kinds of information, and I can put in a time frame. So I'm not getting a whole bunch of footage. As we are open to the public, there's probably a lot of men wearing hats. So you can focus it in on a particular day. If something was a little shady, you can go back and find out what that guy with the hat riding the tractor was doing. So that is an excellent feature that is coming out. Not sure when it's coming out. Probably in around the time, I would think, with the X16, but we'll definitely keep an eye on that AI box coming out.
Hello.
So if you are interested in this camera, I will put a little QR code right here for you to scan with your phone. If you're watching this on your phone, then go down into the description and you can click on the link there. I hope you enjoyed this video on the OMVI 3i. If you're not subscribed, click on that subscribe button and you'll get notifications when the next video does come out. This is sponsored by Reolink, but like always, I give you my honest opinion, and truthfully, this camera is the next generation, and it's going to be exciting to see what Reolink is going to do moving forward. So anyway, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a comment down in the comment section if you have any questions regarding this or any other camera, and I'd be happy to get back to you. Take care, and hope to see you next time. Bye.